Now go. Okay. This is Chase talking,
This is Dino.
and you've got a claim today.
Yes. The claim would be you can't choose whom you love.
Okay. And so when you say you can't, just so that I understand what you're saying, are you saying that love is involuntary by its nature? So,
I would say that has a high degree of certainty, what you just said. Yeah. High degree of correctness.
okay. And why is it you think that?
Well, in my own life, I have, not without wanting or deciding, have fallen in love. My family members, I don't think I ever decided to love them.
Hmm.
I have seen people that, fall in love or feel love, and it's not like,
They didn't choose in love, they fell
yeah,
in love.
yeah. So it's just through my experience, I suppose.
Okay.
I haven't seen anything that, like, cause I have tried, like, oh, I have feelings for this person, and then, I won't feel this way. It doesn't really work.
So you don't think you can choose out of love either?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can't choose that
You
fall
can
in love.
choose how you feel.
You can choose how you
You
feel.
cannot choose how you feel.
Okay, so you can't choose how you feel that it starts, and you can't choose to end it either.
Yes.
Okay. Is that something that you've always believed, or do you have a time when you felt differently?
Yeah, I think when I was younger, I thought that because I tried it, I tried to, well, I don't want to feel this way, so let's change that. But yeah.
Now, when you say you can't choose, do you mean in the immediate sense, or do you mean, so if, say, for example, you're having a bad day, you feel down in the morning, so you decide to go for a run.
Right.
Would that classify if you felt better after your run as changing how you feel?
Yeah.
Okay, so would that be an example of you controlling how you feel?
Yes and no, I want to say.
Okay.
Because what you feel after you're wrong is like, it's not that you can control that,
Okay. So it isn't as though you can just grab your emotion and make it something new, but you can control other things which have an effect on your emotions?
So the interesting idea about exercise is like, okay, so I might feel not as great before exercising. The feelings that you have in that respective moment, I would say that you can't really quite change it in that moment. It's just what you feel is what you feel, and you're trying to like change that feeling. It is not possible, or if it is possible, it's like not helpful. And then once you are going through the exercise part, then your feelings start to change based on the right. So your feelings is changing for sure, but what I mean to say is you can't really help. You can't help feeling what you feel while doing an activity like exercise.
Okay. So it sounds like there's some room for interpretation here. You don't believe this is an absolute law of the world because there are cases where there's an effect.
No, there is a lot, but I think. Yeah.
Okay. So you do think it's an absolute case that you can't control how you feel.
Well, the thing is, it's kind of weird because how do you decide what you mean by control, right? Like, because I feel like you're putting it. My claim was you can choose who you love.
Yeah,
so it just kind of happens spontaneously. So,
so
if
I guess
you were to transmute that to other things, like you feeling how you feel about perhaps your emotional state or your physical state, I would say that it still is transplanted. But I suppose that you can change your emotional state when it comes to how you feel, whether you feel good, you feel relaxed, those type of things you can do more things about. But for love, it would be a bit a different dynamic, maybe. Those are what questions you're asking me.
Oh, well, let me ask something more about the original statement then. Let me ask about love. So, what would an explanation sound like to you of somebody who was controlling who they loved? Like, can you give me an example, like an imaginary
Sure.
situation of what that would be?
So, I would put myself in an example. So if I were to decide from now on, I'm going to love um, this car right here that I have in my hand,
Okay.
and I were able to actually do that, make it consistent, um, then yeah. I mean, it's because I don't know if I can fake the feeling, right? I mean, I can say, "Oh, I love it, right?"
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if that would be something that is actually happening, other than maybe I'm just pretending.
Okay. So
Mm.
there's, yeah, yes. Um, yeah. Can you define love? Easy question.
Okay. Um,
Mm,
that's hilarious. Yes, love is the desire that one wants for somebody else's happiness.
okay. So if so, you can't choose who you desire happiness for. That'd be an equal statement.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I am already like fully in so sure. I'm gonna. There's just a difference because I was also thinking about like that idea of like romantic love, which doesn't necessarily like quite fit my definition per se.
Hmm.
Because romantic love can be rather excessive, and it can even be against the wishes of the other person. Um, because just because the other person is happy is not enough, right? You have to have them. You have
Hmm.
to have like some type of possessional or relationship in order for that feeling to be satisfied. So my definition of love was really like a very universal love.
Hmm.
But there is that also like romantic love that I also meant as well.
Okay. So it would include romantic love. Would it also? Yeah. Sorry, you're giving me a look. Like
No, no,
maybe it
you
doesn't.
continue. I'm just thinking about your question.
Okay. Well, so
I'm just making sure that I'm not getting distracted because I get distracted.
okay. Well, you define love as wanting another person's happiness.
Yeah,
So that could exist in romantic love, but then there's
yeah,
other things with it that come
yeah. I
along.
think so. Yeah,
Okay.
this is my experience.
But then you would also
One of my
call, say, like a parent's love because
yeah.
they want their children to be happy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So if, a stranger was walking down the street and dropped their wallet, that would be a small type of love to you if I wanted them to have their wallet back because I felt
Mhm.
I had empathy
Yeah.
for them. Okay. What, if anything, can you think of a time you didn't feel as strongly about this? Or I guess I asked that before, but do you think something in particular made you so certain?
Just the idea that fighting your feelings is not a good idea,
Mm.
psychologically speaking. So if fighting your feelings is not a good idea, then perhaps there is some truth to what you feel, and there is some innateness to it, something that, should we say, cannot be changed. It has to be dealt with.
So is your claim that it's not a good idea or that it can't be done?
I want to say they are both similarly. For this discussion, I try to say to be a little more certain of the claim. Um, I would say that both of them are true. I mean, right?
Oh,
You can change it, and then also it's not a good idea to, because you can try to do something, right? But it's not gonna work. So I don't think you can change your feelings, and you shouldn't do it because why would you try to do something that you can't do? So they're not mutually exclusive.
Okay, so you think to try to change it isn't ever successful.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So that's why it's that's why you can't choose who you love because even if you try to interact with it and you attempt to change it, it's ultimately a failure.
I think so.
Okay. Um, can you really not think of a situation where someone's successfully? I mean, what about like say like an adoption? And I'm just trying to think of examples that come to my mind, but can you think of examples where maybe someone opted into love?
I think that love can be, shall we say, nurtured, or like you can grow love, but um, it's different from, shall we say, um, I don't. So this is a kind of interesting question there. Uh, I want to say that you can nurture love, you can, but I think that my claim was more on the lines of what you feel, what you
Mm-hmm.
feel can't be changed in that moment of time. I'm
Okay.
just changing things because I'm kind of losing the battle here, I feel like,
Well,
but
I'm just trying to understand where your definition lies. So it
yeah.
sounds like for you, there's a deeper meaning behind feeling.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm just kind of thinking about this, and the reason why I brought this question was because I wanted to understand more about this idea, the idea of um, creating love
Mm-hmm.
where there was none. I think it is possible. For example, um, as soon as you think of other people as people that kind of are like you and you have like a common ground, that they have families and kinds of things, growth, and you nurture that thought, or you start to think that way, put yourself in another person's shoes, then growth for that person, for people, starts to grow and change. So in that sense, your feelings can change, right?
Okay.
Um, Now that is, I want to say, a little bit off from the, I guess, part of the issue, and I think is quite a so so a lot of it was like a romantic love, right? That you can choose who you love. For your parents, for the parents, you can choose who you love as well. Um, yeah, you get me confused. So,
Okay. Well,
I mean, you can help me out here. What do you think?
well, it sounds to me that you've got a sense of where there's a definition of love that is open to influence, but that you also feel there's something in your definition that you don't believe can be influenced, but you're having a hard time talking about it. Or maybe I'm having a hard time finding the right questions to ask to describe that inviolate emotion of wanting to help other people. Because it sounds like we can engender it, we can create it. And maybe if we talked more, we might find ways where you could dampen it and maybe destroy it. So if I can think, for example, of somebody as a similar person with values and grow love, perhaps I could ignore those values or similarities and destroy it. Would that be accurate to you, or do you feel?
Hmm. I I don't know. I don't know. Um, I will say that my I was believe in my claim that you can't really quite choose what you feel about somebody. Um, However, maybe I'm actually wrong. Maybe you can actually like do some stuff to not feel the way that you do. So I think I'm starting to change my mind a bit as to that. I just don't see how that will happen. So.
Okay, well, we're at time, so
Mhm.
thanks for sharing.